It's time for more VB MMA picks for UFC Fight Night. Magny's versus Prates on Saturday, November 9th at the Apex here in Las Vegas. VB, we're going to throw a little curveball tonight. We know the main event has Magny and Prates. It's a pretty big spread. Obviously, you got a $7.5, $8 favorite in that one. And those guys, we've seen these guys plenty of times. So we're going to mix it up tonight with three other fights with Narco here tonight. VB, good call, you guys. How you doing, VB, Narco?
Yeah, we're doing great. Narco once again saves the show, so I want to thank him. And we talked about some fights and the main event. The line is crazy, and Narco has gone to it. Anyway. So let's not do the co-main event. Raymond is not happy about the changes though, but sorry. But yeah, I think the co-main event is more interesting. I mean, what am I gonna say about main event? Oh, but this minus 800 favorite or what? So I think the three fights we have is more interesting anyway. So are more interesting anyway. So let's get into it. And
right,
yeah, Narco again, thanks.
You want to say hi, Narco, or you just want to get to it? I don't mind. Look,
yes, let's get to it. Hi to everybody. Let's get to it. We're gonna crush this card this week.
All right, let's take a look at it straight away here, and get right into it with early action here. Middleweights, Trayshawn Gore, the 30-year-old from South Carolina, 4-2, 1-2 here in the UFC. He's off of his first win over a friend by round 2 sub back in October. He did earn the performance bonus. Narco is a plus 135 dog. He's up against Antonio Trocoli. We saw him lose his debut to Shara Magomedov in round 3 KO last June. Remember, in Saudi Arabia, he was nearly a $5 dog on that night. The 33-year-old from Brazil gets another chance here against Gore. Middleweights, Narco.
Yeah, Trayshawn Gore's been out of the cage for about 2 years now. The guy has a total of 6 pro MMA fights, but he's not been very active. A lot of canceled fights in his career. If you go back and look, it's quite incredible how many canceled fights this guy's had. I'm counting here, and I'm looking at 9 canceled fights compared to only 6 fights he's actually fought, which is kind of crazy, right? It's not like the guy is young. He's 30 years old. He's only got 6 MMA fights, pro MMA fights. And I really don't like what I see from this guy. He lost to Brian Battle. He lost to Cody Brundage in a bad way. But even in the Josh Frem fight, when you go back and look at that fight, it looked like this guy was breaking, honestly. And you see Josh Frem like cornering him against the fence. This guy was shelling up, doing nothing. And Josh Frem stupidly decides to go for a takedown right into a guillotine. I really don't like what I see from Gore. And there's some places that have him as big as a minus 200. I don't trust this guy's cardio whatsoever. This guy's been out of the cage, like I said, for 2 years. His cardio was already bad. He's coming off 2 injuries. He talked about a torn wrist ligament. He talked about a bad shoulder injury in which he pulled out from the last fight. Why is this guy minus 200? On the other side, Antonio Trocoli, not a great fighter either. I don't think he's very good. He took a very short notice fight, flew out all the way to the Middle East to fight a very good striker. Honestly, I wasn't that disappointed in his performance in round 1. He actually looked pretty okay in round 1. He was backing up Shara. He was pushing him against the cage, going for takedowns. Doing kind of all the right things. He just couldn't deal with the kicks from Shara, and then he gasped back. This guy is 6'5". He's huge for this division. Very long. He throws a lot of front kicks. I think those are going to be big trouble for Gore, to be honest. The front kicks, the teeps to the body. I think those are going to zap Gore's gas tank. And I think he has, as the fight goes on, I think he has a pretty big grappling edge here. I think he can get Gore down. I think he can get on top of Gore. I truly think he's the side by a pretty good margin, just because I favor his cardio better than Gore on a full camp here. And the fact that Gore's been out for 2 years, all these injuries, I don't trust the guy. The guy was training at MMA Lab. He was at ATT in Georgia. I don't trust this guy, Gore. You know, he keeps pulling out. He might even pull out again. Who knows? But I'm going to go with the dog here. I don't see how you can bet Gore at these prices.
Yeah, let me clean that up then. Thank you for setting me straight there on the record. Narco back in October of 22, of course, and one of those cancellations was against Bo Nickel, apparently. So, BB, what do you got?
Yeah, in that fight, they clearly wanted Bo Nickel to do what he does, you know, to Gore. But I think it's like this is a fight between the two people who UFC is not high on, you know. I don't think they really care about these guys, you know. They sent Trocoli to Saudi Arabia or Abu Dhabi or wherever and got him knocked out, you know. And Treshan Gore, he's been pulling out the fights, he's been showing up. Then he takes 2-year layoff. Don't forget, Trocoli also had like 4-year layoff or something. I'm forgetting 3 or 4-year layoff also he had, right? So these guys are not active, and you know, it's like whoever loses probably gets cut. I mean, we saw like I think Romanov got cut off of a win last week. You know, so people if they don't like you, they're gonna cut you. And I don't know if they like Trocoli in general. You know, like he's been out for a couple of years. I know Gore also has been out for 2 years, but I don't know. It seems like Trocoli is a guy who is like I think he tested positive, but they could be wrong about that too. He got his win overturned. You know, he's been fighting very like. Yeah, it's like 1 in 3 years, 1 in 4 years. Even before the Contender Series fight, like he took 2 years off, you know, and then he came to UFC. So it's like, yeah, a lot of red flags with Trocoli. I don't like how he reacts when he gets hit, you know. I don't like how he reacts when he gets hurt. He panic shoots, misses. He shoots from way far, you know, and he has like really bad fight IQ, especially in the striking. So I think Gore is rightfully favorite here, you know, even though Gore is hard to trust, you know, he looks good and he gets knocked out by Brandage, just not a good look. And he was getting touched up by Frame too before he subbed him. Brian Battle fight is not the worst look. I mean, I remember I bet Brian Battle in that fight, and I was kind of, you know, nervous in that fight. I remember, you know, because he was back and forth. He got dropped. Brian Battle got dropped pretty bad. And he wore a lot of damage in that fight, actually. And he won the fight by cage pushing Gore, you know? So he wasn't like a super easy win, and Brian Battle is doing well right now. So I think Gore is better athlete, but if Trocoli gets him down, it could be really ugly, you know? Trocoli, if he takes his back, Trocoli could definitely sub him. So it's more like, can he get him there? Maybe, but I'm hoping if he gets him there, it's at the end of the round and Gore can make it out of it, because I don't see Trocoli getting 2 takedowns later in this fight. You know, I see maybe 1 in round 1 and 1 in round 2 max. If he gets him in round 1, he subs him, so be it. But if he doesn't, I think he's gonna get knocked out in this fight. So I went with the Gore and under. You know, I hope at least under covers me if Trocoli subs him. But yeah, I think Gore is very live to knock Trocoli out. The line is not good though. I mean, it's like +2 something, I think. So I want to play that, but I played the money line. It's like +265, you know. So I'm not playing that at all, but you know, I think it's a fight where, you know, if Trocoli doesn't do what he does, like he's gonna get knocked out and he's gonna probably quit, you know. So yeah, Gore -170 I got. It's like 180, 185 now. I think it should be like around -200, maybe more. So yeah, I'm gonna take him. It's hard to trust him at these prices, you know, because he's been, you know, smashed a few times, and you know he's hard to trust in general as a fighter. But Trocoli is even more like red flags, you know. I see even more red flags to Trocoli. You know, like he couldn't even take shot a bullet down. Everybody at least gets close to it. You know, he wasn't doing anything right in that fight almost. Like I don't know. And his cardio is questionable, but he's gonna have a big size advantage though. You know, he's 6'5", he's a huge guy, so that's a good thing. But other than that, I don't see him doing anything. Back take and rear naked choke is like that is really quitting. You know, like, I don't think that's much. So 30% maybe max, but not more. You know.
All right, appreciate it, guys, and let's stay with it here on the preliminary card on Saturday night from the Apex and look at bantamweights here, VB. Got 34-year-old Cody Stamann from Michigan. He's 21-7-1, 7-6-1 in the UFC. He's lost 2 straight, including a loss to Lapalus back in June. He's up against 30-year-old Blackshear from North Carolina, 14-7-1, 2-3-1 in the UFC. He's lost 2 straight, including that quick round one loss to Montel Jackson. He was a plus 120 dog on that night. VB for you here, bantamweights.
Yeah, I mean, this is a good fight, you know. Both guys are decent. Hi to Uncle Weezy, thanks for tuning in.
You with us, brother?
I think he cut out.
Okay, Narco, you can pick up. We'll come back. I think VB. We'll give him a second here if you're ready to roll with these two. No problem.
Yeah, Damon Blackshear, Cody Stamann.
Can you hear me, guys?
Oh, there he goes.
Yeah,
there he goes.
Thank
my
you.
bad, yeah.
Got you back now.
I clicked something, I think. So
Can you get a better internet, will you?
Yeah, we were trying to,
Yeah.
This was an option here. Go ahead, brother.
I think I turned off Wi-Fi. My laptop. I turned it on back on. So my bad. So yeah. So basically, I was saying that this is a great fight. I think both of these guys are like good at some things. Stamann is hard to finish. Like from where I watched, he has good chin. And I think like people saying like Blackshear is much better striker and all this. I think it's kind of BS. I don't think striking is the one-sided for Blackshear. I think it's close, if not Stamann could be faster, and he has some power early even. So I think Stamann is a good striker, but not like great striker, and Blackshear is like good grappler and decent striker. So it's a close fight, and they're giving us like crazy line on Stamann. And also Blackshear got knocked out like 3 months ago, pretty bad. So you never know how he's gonna look after getting knocked out like that. People don't look the same, especially coming back this quick. And Stamann is a guy who's been in the UFC for a long time. He fought like multiple champions. He fought Merab, he fought Aljo. He fought like a lot of good fighters, And Blackshear hasn't really faced like top guys yet, He faced some good fighters, but not like top 5 champion level, And Stamann had a lot of hype. I remember a few like 5-6 years ago, when he came, he was undefeated, 17-0 or something like that, maybe 15-0. So he was a hyped prospect, but he kind of fell off. He got older. And Blackshear is the guy who's like younger right now and all that. But I think it's a winnable fight for Stamann. On the feet, he's competitive. On the ground, I don't think he'll get held down. It's hard to hold Stamann down. Takedown wise, I think they can both take each other down. One thing that may favor Blackshear is like cardio, I guess. Stamann sometimes just goes too much to wrestling and it gets himself tired more than anything when he fails takedowns. So he's not bad though. I mean, even if you look like Merab fight in round 3, like he could make a case he beat Merab in round 3. He probably won round 3 in that fight. It was very close. So he's competitive with anybody really. And if you get him and knock him out or guillotine him like Said, you can great. But if you don't, it's more likely it's a close fight. So yeah, I'm gonna take the underdog here. I think he could be washed though. I'm kind of afraid he's washed and he gets like finished here or dominated, but I don't see many signs that he's super washed at this point, and I think he's going to be competitive here. The spread 3.5 is also decent in my opinion. It's plus 120. I think he's going to win at least one round, if not more. So the spread is not bad, plus 120. I mean, he can maybe start very well and lose 2-3. That's possible. So we'll see. Maybe I'm going to get that too, but in general, I think it's a competitive fight and interesting underdog. Narco, what you think?
Go ahead, Narco. Minus 275 in that round proposition right now at what? Over 2.5 minus 360. Try to make this one exciting.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with VB here. I honestly don't know if Blackshear is the better wrestler of the two. To be honest, I think Stamann might actually be the better. He's the more credentialed wrestler that I know. And if you look at the guys he's been out grappled or out wrestled by, it's only been like some of the best wrestlers and grapplers. Jimmy Rivera, Merab, he out wrestled Aljamain. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't think Blackshear's going to out wrestle him. And then on the feet, I do lean Blackshear because of the height and reach advantage, he's got a significant height and reach advantage here. I think he's got like a 4-inch height advantage, like a 8 or 7-inch reach advantage. So it's pretty big. And I do think he might be able to land a little better on the feet. But one thing I liked about Cody Stamann's interview, I listened to his interview today, and he talked about how this was the last fight of his contract, and he absolutely had to win this fight and do anything. He said, I'll die in that cage to win this fight. I don't want to leave. I love the UFC. I know it's potential I can get cut if I lose this. And he talked kind of about how he didn't go to his roots in a lot of these last fights, and his roots is wrestling. He talked about, I don't know why I just got into a striking match with all these guys where I should have, he said, I know Lapilus' weakness and it's wrestling, and I only shot like 5 or 6 takedowns. I could have shot, way more. And so, I kind of believe him. He's in great shape per usual, and the thing with Blackshear is like, he normally is not going to cover these type of prices unless he finishes you. And if you look at Stamann, the guy's never been dropped. He's never been knocked out. And the 2 submissions are against Aljamain. It was like a meme. I forgot even the submission, what it was. It was like a meme submission. I think it was like an ankle lock or
it was like a knee bar, kind of like stretch.
Oh, maybe a knee bar. Yeah, maybe knee bar or something. And then the other one was to
Saeed.
Who was the other? Saeed's choke, who he can get anybody with, right? Saeed, he can get anyone with that choke. So I don't think Blackshear is going to finish this guy, So if you're telling me this fight goes to decision, how could Blackshear look minus, 275, minus 300? I think that's off. You can literally get this guy at like plus 230. I'm sorry. Yeah, you can get him plus 230 at MGM, which I think is way too big.
Yeah, it's 235 on Bet Online. I mean, Narco, like, what is the line in your opinion if Stamann is like coming off of the fight against like Yadong for a few years ago? I know it was time passed and he regressed, of course, but I mean, Blackshear hasn't beaten anybody. Who did he beat? Like, he looked competitive against Batista. That's his best like performance, I guess. But like, I don't know.
I mean, something I didn't mention is that the one thing you have to think about is when fighters, for the first time in their career, pro and amateur, they've never been knocked out and they feel a knockout, they get knocked out. I'm pretty sure it changes their mentality. It's hard, right? You've never been knocked out in your life, and all of a sudden, boom, I got knocked out, and I'm coming back my next fight. You start to get reluctant a little. You start to not want to take shots, right? Because you're not certain if you can take them anymore. Am I going to get knocked out? And you have that fear in you. So I know that happens with fighters. It has to. They're human. So who knows how he shows up here? Maybe he's reluctant in this fight. He's scared because Stamann, he's not the best striker. He doesn't have the biggest power, but he does throw like everything into his shots early.
Yeah. I think he dropped Douglas, didn't he? The last fight. He dropped.
Did he drop
not the
sorry?
last fight. I think the Andrade fight, he dropped him late. I remember because I bet the Andrade, and I think he was up to round.
It says he had a knockdown. Yep.
Yeah, he dropped him pretty bad, I think. So he has some power. I'm not saying he's gonna knock like Blackshear out. I mean, it's not likely, but guy got knocked out in July. Like, that's pretty recent, so it's not like he's been out for long time. So yeah, I don't know. I think Stamann, the line is crazy. I mean, guy fought like champion after like few champions. Song, who is fighting for #1 contenders, fighting against Umar probably. I mean, he fought like a lot of good fighters, and even against Song, it was a draw. So he's been competitive with many good fighters. Even against Aljo, as Narco said, he out scrambled Aljo in many positions, and Aljo like was falling off from his back, and he grabs us like a knee bar, kind of like a stretch, kind of. I think it's called like a Sulo stretch. I think the submission is called, or something like that. So it's like more like a meme finish than than something. So I don't know if Blackshear gets control here. I'm surprised. I don't think he can control Stamann. He can probably at range land like straight shots. That's what he throws. But Stamann is gonna be scrambling. He's gonna be competitive. It's a small cage. They're gonna be close to each other. So give me Stamann. You know.
All right, appreciate it, guys. And we'll be previewing the the 3-round co-main event here in just a moment between Cody Garbrandt and Miles Johns on the UFC Fight Night Magny versus Prates card here in just a moment. But first, don't forget you can follow VB MMA Picks on X to pick up his fight card for this Saturday night. Main card with Magny versus Prates. I've seen the card, BB. 20 picks you're firing this week. Straight bets, parlays, and plenty of props for everyone. What do you got this week in MMA?
Yeah, I sent my card early. I should have waited for the other books to open props probably because I'm gonna get bet lines a bit online. But it is what it is. I don't let my listen, you know. But yeah, I mean, I like this card. I have a lot of money line bets on this card. You know, one of them got canceled, the Zaleski fight, but I still have like 7 or maybe 8 even money lines and 2 parlays. So I like this card a lot. Actually, it's flowing, kind of going under the radar. I think it's actually a good card for betting. I think last week was also a good card for betting. I just got like robbed on freaking few decisions that I thought at least was, you know, like Horde fight was crazy scorecard. I mean, Anfield I rewatched it. I don't think it was a robbery actually, but you know, few unlucky decisions and yeah, we'll see. You know, I have a lot of plays. Hit me up. Link is down below if you wanna check it out. And if not, tail my free picks and listen to the show, subscribe, and listen to Narco is also very good.
Yeah, and join a BB. You know, you can help talk BB off a ledge after all these wild decisions in his spaces each week during the live broadcast. So he'll need your support in there with these judges going on. All right, let's get right into it then, guys. We're gonna go with the co-main event this week. We said we got a $7 or $8 favorite here, of course, in the main event. So let's go with this one here, Narcos. We got bantamweights here. 33-year-old Cody Garbrandt from Ohio fights out of Sacktown. 14-6, 9-6 in the UFC's off that loss to Figueiredo last time out. He's up against 30-year-old Miles Johns from Kansas, fights out of Texas, 15-2, 6-2 in the UFC, but he has won 3 straight. He had a no contest thrown in there as well, but on a pretty good run right now. So a good co-main event. This one sounds a little more interesting. A good swap by you guys last minute here. These are bantamweights, Narco.
Yeah, man, interesting fight. I taped this one, and I'm so close to betting Cody Garbrandt at this price. And I was at the fight against Figueiredo last time at UFC 300. I was there in person, and I thought he was doing actually very well early. You know, he was boxing up Figueiredo, very good movement. He stuffed a couple of takedowns early. He was feeling good. The guy was a very good wrestler. He had an incredible amateur boxing career. I think he went 31 or 32-0. This guy as a boxer. So his boxing is very, very legit. He's got very good grappling. His wrestling is good. Apparently, he got vertigo during that fight at some point. If you've ever had vertigo, it's terrible. You can't really function, honestly. And I know he's talked about this before, by the way. Cody's talked about this vertigo thing for a while now. And it's not something you can it doesn't just disappear, it could come back. And apparently it came back last fight, so there's a lot of things with Cody that, the layoff, the knockouts, this vertigo thing now, all these things are keeping me off of him. But like skill for skill, I favor Cody Garbrandt here. Experience, I favor Cody Garbrandt here. Who's faced the better guys? I favor Cody Garbrandt here. All those things are Cody Garbrandt, but like there's other things that are not, right? Durability is not Cody Garbrandt. Injuries and all this other nonsense, intangibles, we call them, are not Cody Garbrandt. Miles Johns on a nice winning streak. But the guy has known to have a shaky gas tank, right? The guy's gas tank is not the best. His striking is not great, but he has a lot of power. Honestly, he really throws a lot of heat, and he does have power in his punches. But this guy does get tired. You know, he gets tired in a lot of fights in round 3. You know, in that Douglas Silva de Andrade, like, is kind of like running away in parts of round 3 before they started exchanging in the middle. You know, Cody Gibson fight, he was tired again in round 3. You know, I thought he was going to break, honestly, at some point in that fight, but then he got on top of Cody Gibson. He did break against Castaneda in round 3. So all these things, it's kind of like it's a fight where I just probably pass at this point. I'm looking at the over here. You know, I think maybe Cody can kind of stay away. Like, and if Miles Johns does decide to grapple, he's not holding Cody down. He doesn't have the jiu-jitsu that Figueiredo does, right? Figueiredo is way better jiu-jitsu. Like, Miles Johns maybe can take Cody down, but he's not holding him down. So I think that would be, honestly, I think it's a terrible mistake for him to grapple, because I think he'll gas himself. So yeah, I kind of lean dog or pass. I can't bet Miles Johns at this price, but I'm kind of leaning over at plus money here. I haven't bet it yet, but I'm leaning over.
Yeah, BB, we've seen about a 30-cent move on Miles Johns here. Yeah.
Narco, sadly, the over is not plus money. I was looking at it too. Minus 150.
Oh, he put plus 150 down there. Okay.
Over's juiced to minus 150 here, guys.
Minus 150, yeah.
Oh, because it says over 50. All right.
BetOnline opened it, but BetOnline opened it over 75, and it's now here dropped about 20 cents to the under. Go ahead, BB.
I mean, I do think if Garbrandt wins, it could be early knockout or really late knockout when Miles Johns is death cast, you know, like one of those. I don't think it's like round 2 probably. Maybe it is round 2 exactly. I don't know, but I think it's super late knockout if Miles Johns like can't even stand anymore because he's death cast and kind of quits, or if it's super early when Cody is fresh, you know. In the middle, I think it's competitive fight. Like Miles Johns has his striking is not good, man. He's like very like average. He's a 1-2, 1-2 overhand, you know, like every fight does the same thing. His job is okay, but not great, and he gets countered, you know. I mean, it's a weird fight, to be honest. Like Cody Garbrandt, the way he gassed last fight, to be honest, Narco. He was the one who gassed, you know. He got taken down, and it was like a 50-50 kind of like spot where Figueiredo ended up on top, and he took his back and choked him, and Cody was pretty tired. He ate some elbows and, you know, got choked out. So yeah, I don't know. I think Cody is done, man, to be honest. I bet him last 2 fights when he won. Last fight I bet him again, and unfortunately he didn't win that one. So I kind of think he could be done. Especially he was going okay. He was on a couple fight win streak, and he needed that win to kind of get, you know, to top 10 again, but he couldn't do it. And at this point, what can really do it? It's like he's not very young anymore. He's 33, 34, right? So, you know, he's getting up there in age, 33, right? So yeah, I mean, I don't think he's gonna make title run again, and I think he's the guy who wants to be a champion, and I don't think he believes he can be a champion again because he has too many injuries. He seems to be in pain all the time. So I took Miles Johns. You know, I got 160 or 150. I don't remember, and I think it's a good line. I think he could grapple. I don't think he'll like mold him or anything, but I think he can get his back against the cage and kind of ride him out in a boring decision. You know, so GTD, I don't mind. If Cody wins, I think it's KO, and it's a little bit like, you know, binary breakdown. But yeah, that's it. That's what I think. Like I think Cody gets a knockout if he wins, probably early. There is a chance he does really well at scrabbling in this fight, and Miles Johns gasses late, and he gets knocked out like late also. But at the same time, it's not like Cody's not getting wobbled by these guys, you know. So
I want to make one point of that Uncle Weezy, what he put.
This one or the previous comment, Narco?
No, that one, that comment right there. He's cooked that he lost round 3. But Uncle Weezy, if you listen to one of his earlier interviews, he literally said, because he was coming off knockouts in his career, and he had already won the first 2 rounds, and he just wanted a win. He said he knew that he was up 2 rounds, and he just wanted to win. So he didn't do anything in round 3.
Yeah.
I think that's important in context because the guy was coming off all these knockouts. He knew he was up 2-0, and he decided to just kind of do nothing in round 3 and run away. I don't blame him in a way. He's coming off all these knockouts, like he just wants a W.
Yeah, you watch the fight. That's how I felt. Cody just needs to just get away here. He's up 2 rounds clearly. He was so much faster than Trevor on the feet. I was like, I had Cody by decision plus 600 there. I was like, damn, he may get finished in round 3, but he was fine, I think. But he was clearly up. So
one more thing, I know this VB always likes this angle, and obviously I'm going to mention it again. Last fight on Cody Garbrandt's contract as well.
Oh, yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, and Miles Jones has passed before, right? He test positive in one of these wins. I think he was for what was it?
Yeah, he got popped for that win, but it wasn't. I don't remember what it was, honestly. If it was performance enhancing or what, but it was the Dan Argueta fight.
So that's not a good thing. If he's off some vitamins, that's not gonna be good for his cardio. But he looked okay last 2 fights. Even though he got tired, he still pushed through it, and he still got the.
Oh, it's ADHD meds. ADHD meds.
Oh, it was ruled no contest after after. It wasn't a.
Yeah, those meds are it's not performance enhancing. Come on.
Right. Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, I'm not really
right.
Really familiar with the stuff, but he looked good. But he looked good in the Argueta fight. That's probably his best performance in my opinion in the UFC. I thought Argueta was going to do much better than he did, and he kind of outclassed Argueta in big time in that fight. In wrestling. So that was a good performance. So yeah, give me Miles. It's probably my least confident bet on the card, though. Not gonna lie. As far as money lines go, he's the least confident player for me. It's he could definitely get chinned here in round 1, or he could cast out. So he has some ways to lose this, but at the same time, man, it's a small cage, and I think he will get to takedowns. I don't think he will keep him down. I think he will just burn the clock, and win a decision. So yeah, that's it.
Okay. Well, appreciate it, guys. Yeah, that probably works out better than, talking about the possibility of a knockout this week by Prates. Unless you guys had anything to add for the main event, VB, you could thank Narco, plug Narco, and then we'll just get on out of here. So good audible this week, VB.
Yeah, I think Narco hasn't taped main event. I'm gonna comment on it a little bit. I mean, it looks like a mismatch on paper. It looks like mismatch on the tape. I think Magny is there to get kicked. I think he will get his leg destroyed, and I think Prates is gonna knock him out. So the line indicates that, though. So not interesting, Yeah, thank you, Narco, for joining. If you want to say anything before we get out of here.
Narco, I just want to say officially, when the UFC produces things, they still have a marquee, right? Still has Magny on top of the marquee this week. Narco, does that mean anything?
Not really. I mean, I think they're trying to.
He's been loyal, right? They're loyal.
Yeah. I mean, he's a guy that's been in the UFC for a long time, and I kind of feel like if you notice, there's kind of a trend with him. They're kind of been feeding him to prospects, right? Yeah. I mean, he got fed to 4 straight prospects. We're going from Ian Gary to Mike Malott to Michael Morales and now Carlos Prates. So it's been kind of unfair to him, to be honest. They're literally feeding him to young prospects, up and coming guys, and they're doing it again. Honestly, they're doing it again against Prates, and this one. He's got a lot less of a chance than the other ones, even in my opinion. Because
remember, they were talking about Hamza Chimaev fight for a long time. They wanted him to defeat Hamza too. So this guy was,
I'll be honest. Even the Malott fight, he was getting destroyed up until Malott just gave up, man. He wasn't doing anything. He was just getting his leg chewed off. Even dominated in round 3, right? And the minute Malott got taken down, it was okay, I quit. It's crazy, insane.
Cad, you're right. Yeah, exactly. He's a gatekeeper. So they're trying to get Prates the knockout here, and he will probably get it, to be honest.
Marco, you want my amateur trend on this one, you guys? Magny's alternated wins and losses for 12 consecutive fights, and he's coming off of a loss here this week. So. This one.
Raymond is gonna be betting that.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know if that's a good trend for this fight here.
Well, he would be expected to win if he did. Okay, Narco, where can we get you? Thanks, guys. Great job.
Yeah.
Save the show, Narco.
No problem. Narco Cop on Twitter, YouTube channel, Narco Cop MMA every Friday. Lambo Place podcast with Timothy Troiano. Appreciate you guys if you join. And good luck this weekend to both of you.
Thank you, Narco. Thank you, VB. We'll catch you next time with more VB MMA Picks.